Hey guys, good morning. Hope you're doing well. I've compiled some articles kind of spanning from the beginning of August to current because I've stressed something to you that I'd like to show to you that everything that they're showing you in the articles strongly stresses what I've shared with you. The number one thing I've stressed with you is that Article 140, the HCL, and those items cannot be done until the very end. Okay, the articles are now confirming that. Okay, and it shows you that Article 140 and the HCL are all dependent on the rate change as well. So let's get into this. So the first article, this article is from August 6th of this year, and it says the Curtis deputy, the government of the region to start quickly a comprehensive dialogue with Baghdad. That's when they started talking about having Kurdistan meet with Baghdad, was around August 6th. In this article, what they're telling you is they say they must resolve the oil file between Kurdistan and the federal government quickly because of the budget of 2020 that's going to come to the House of Representatives during the 10th month. Okay. What they're also telling you here is that the 2020 budget has post rate change monies in it. Okay. All right. So that was that one. Here's the next one. It says the patriotic Kurdistan Baghdad. This article is from today, this morning. Is the patriotic Kurdistan Baghdad and Erbil serious resolve differences. Okay. And I've highlighted the key parts of this. It says a high-level delegation will visit soon to Baghdad. Now notice the last one I showed you was from August 6th. Today is 9/2, okay? And they're still saying that they plan to meet. Do you guys see a pattern here? They can't iron this crap out until after the rate change. That's why they keep dragging this out and kicking this can down the road, guys, because it's waiting on the rate change. I just want to show this to you. So a high-level delegation will visit Baghdad soon on the files of oil and gas and salaries. There will be important topics on the table, including the 2020 budget, and we will endeavor with the beginning of the legislative chapter to resolve the outstanding differences. Now notice, in this one, they're telling you that they're planning to resolve these matters during the next legislative chapter. Now, one thing I want to stress to you is their legislative chapters typically last about 4 months. The last one went from roughly March 3rd, was going to end on roughly June 2nd, June 3rd right there, but they extended it 30 days through the end of July, okay? But they typically last 4 months, all right? So they're saying that they want to meet and resolve their differences during the next legislative chapter, okay? Let's get into the next article. It says the imminent entry of oil and gas law into legislation and reveal its political dimensions. Well, now they're saying that it's imminent, the entry of oil and gas law into legislative, that it's imminent. Well, they made a key statement in this. It says one of the recommendations made by the Finance Committee to the presidency of the House of Representatives after hosting the Minister of Finance is the legislation of oil and gas law during the next legislative term. Do you guys see a pattern here? During the next legislative term? It's because they're telling you guys after the rate change. Let's push forward. Legal clarifies the decision. And that, by the way, guys, that was the oil and gas law. Right now, this article is talking about Article 140. This article is from August 17th of this year, and it says, legal clarifies the decision of the federal court on the entry of force of Article 140 of the Constitution. Well, here's the catch on this. I've highlighted all the key parts. This was, they deemed it that it's valid, but here was the problem. This law was supposed to be put into, they were supposed to implement this law back by 2007, okay, and we'll get to that in a second here. So they deemed the law as binding and legal. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see what's next. Here it says the federal Supreme Court is the existence of a time limit of Article 140 of the Constitution. They gave it a back wall of December 31st of 2007 that it should have been implemented, but notice it didn't get implemented, even though that was the maximum time limit, was 12/31 of 2007 was the maximum time limit at which it was supposed to be implemented, but it wasn't. Okay, the next sentence says existence of time limits in the constitutional articles is that exceeding them in the birthplace of those articles. The examination of Article 140 of the Constitution, paragraphs 1st and 2nd, shows that it begins with the words, the executive authority takes step, and ends with no later than the 31st of December in the year of 2007. Okay? So guys, they're telling you right there that Article 140 had a maximum time limit to be implemented as of 12/31/2007. And then in the next sentence it says the omission of an article of the Constitution means that we are making an amendment to it, and this amendment can be obtained only through the mechanisms provided by the Constitution itself. So here, guys, they're basically saying that there's an omission to the article within the Constitution, and they have to amend it, okay, within the mechanisms provided by the Constitution. Okay, so now so what they're saying is because they failed to implement Article 140 by its maximum time limit of the end of 2007, they now have to amend it. And that's what I've been stressing to you guys. I've been telling you that both Article 140 and the HCL have to be amended to be added to the Constitution. Now, in this last sentence of the article, it says the summary above shows us that exceeding the constitutional deadlines is not intended to drop its articles, because this requires an amendment in accordance with the mechanisms set forth in the Constitution. Okay, so guys, that's it. But what I wanted to show you with these is, if you notice, as they're talking about Article 140, oil and gas law, they just keep kicking the can down the road. Okay, because what I've stressed to you in this is they can't do anything with either of these until that rate changes. But now they're telling you, they didn't state this with Article 140. With Article 140, the most they told us regarding a time frame is they just said they have to amend Article 140 per the Constitution to bring it, to be able to implement it and make it a valid binding law per the Constitution. So they didn't give us a time limit on that. But with the oil and gas law, you saw multiple comments in there where both Kurdistan and Baghdad saying that they're going to attempt to meet during the next legislative term, which would basically be, again, roughly 4 months: September, October, November, December. They're going to meet somewhere in that time period, and they're going to try to make the Article 140. The federal Supreme Court deemed that both Article 140 as well as the HCL, there's articles in here showing that they're both legal and binding. Okay, so they've got to bring them into law. But the most they're talking about here is that they plan on doing this during the next legislative term. Okay, again, legislative terms of 4 months would be September, October, November, December. Okay, and that also shows you the fact that they started talking about these items around, kind of mid-July to the beginning of August. They're still kicking these cans down the road because they're waiting on something. It's called the rate change, guys. That's what I'm trying to show you here. Both of these items have one common denominator. They can't do anything with them. And as you saw, they've already told us in a previous article that the oil and gas law has been enacted since 2005. And in this article I just showed you, it showed you that the Article 140 had a time restriction and was supposed to have been implemented by the end of 2007. Guys, these articles are these laws are waiting on something in order to be implemented. It very clearly shows you, and that's what I'm trying to show you here. They're waiting on the rate change. That's why Kurdistan and Baghdad have to wait literally until the rate changes to resolve their differences. But notice the one article that I showed you, I think it was the second one in, talking about the 2020 budget. Okay, it shows you they plan on submitting that to Parliament during the 10th month. Okay, so they've got to have their numbers and everything ironed out and ready to go in order to have Kurdistan's correct numbers inside that 2020 budget so that Parliament can approve it during the 10th month. Again, guys, they're giving you time frames here within these factual articles when you piece them together. You guys have a great day.